All right. So as my last mystery of history, I decided to go kind of controversial on this one.
Oh,
So this one's really recent. I'm trying to get an
oh,
exact date of when it happened.
Yesterday.
2017.
It's practically yesterday.
That's practically yesterday in COVID years. So there's this guy named John Lang. I don't know any of his backstory. I ain't look into it.
John Line.
John Lang
Okay.
is the name that they're using on this. But he's a guy who lived in Fresno, California, and he started posting on his social media stuff, "Hey, the Fresno PD is out to get me," and everyone just laughed it off and was like, "Oh yeah, whatever, man. The cops are out to
Oh,
get you."
John.
Oh, John, he's always at it
He
again.
does this all the time.
But he went on there and posted one day to like a local news station, like, "Hey, they're gonna kill me. They're probably gonna kill me by this weekend." And people are like, "Oh, whatever." Again,
He's being John.
he's being him. But a week later, he was dead. And what happened was he died in a house fire. Like his house caught fire and he died inside.
Mm-hmm.
But when the coroner autopsied him, he was stabbed.
There it is.
So some people have tried to say, "Oh, hey, well, maybe he stabbed himself." I guess, I don't know.
He wanted to live up to the prophecy, set his
Yeah,
house ablaze, stabbed himself.
to himself. But some things that are concerning is there's a video that he took and posted on a social media site where this van rolls up and they slide open the door and there's just this like big camera on like a tripod based type thing. It's just like surveying and like taking video and photos of his house. And they close the van door back and they leave. Did nothing else on that street.
He posted that?
Yeah. And then the second thing that people are, oh, there's 3 videos. The second video, at like 1 in the morning, like 6 to 7 cops just meet in front of his house. Like they're standing there, they're talking, they're looking at it, and they're like talking, and then they disperse again and leave.
What did he do? Why? Why him?
weird.
Then the third video that he caught on like his like a security camera, I guess he had at his house. You just see guys in normal clothes, like walking up and kind of like checking out the perimeter and looking at things. But it's a couple dudes and they're all wearing like sunglasses and like a baseball cap that they have like kind of hiding their face. And then after that, he died.
So, it definitely seems likely, given the evidence, that this dude was targeted.
But no one knows why.
He had no connection to anything. Well,
No one knows.
how did... It makes you wonder what was his first clue. If he's out there being like, hey, police department, me, we're not on the same page, everybody. Like, what did... What happened first? That's what I wanted. There was no record of him ever having any trouble with them before. That's...
It says he was an activist, but I won't say what he was an activist in. And it said that he predicted that they would end his 7-year long campaign, whatever that means.
It doesn't say what he was pushing for. Siri, show me activism. That's weird. He has to have some kind of
Eerie.
online presence, right? Like telling us what he did. I could imagine if he was an activist, maybe he was maybe not like anti-law enforcement, but very critical of what's Fresno, California. A lot of people talk shit about California law enforcement, but it still doesn't make sense why that would happen. That's a very like.
One of the posts on his social media just says, "Anyone want to crash at my pad tonight? Must be a legal gun owner. I think the guys are coming to get me tonight."
That sounds terrifying. I wouldn't.
And one of his friends just wrote, "WTF?" He's like, "I'm totally serious. Any serious patriots out there? I've seen a couple of guys sneak in the vacant building next door to me. I've been under threats recently because of my activism lately."
Dude. But what could be so bad that the police have to just be like, we gotta take this guy out the old-fashioned way. We're not just gonna lock him up.
I guess he had 17 videos on YouTube that YouTube has taken down. All just his home security camera stuff.
That really is frightening. That's another one of those things that if I saw it posted somewhere, I'd just be like, what's this all about? Like, I don't know. I can't tell if this person's being serious. That is very frightening.
I'm on the Reddit. Looking
Right.
it up.
There you go.
There's a controversy. I think people are kind of polarized where people are like, no, this man was. No, he was speaking facts. He was serious about this, and then there are people like he was mentally ill. I lived down from the street from him. This guy was always like off, and so that's basically from what I'm scrolling through. That's basically the consensus. Either people thought they were really out to get him for some reason, or it's like no, he was always kind of crazy, and this was just him being crazy until he finally killed himself.
Yeah, one person saying if you look back on the videos that have now been taken down, that the day before he died, all the security camera footage got cut, and you see him sitting in his living room with a large knife.
That's
That's
scary.
so he's sitting there with a knife.
Yeah, his house had also been boarded up and barricaded from the inside. It took considerable effort for the apartment to get in. Doesn't sound like it would have been possible for an attacker to get in.
So everyone's pretty dead set on like, dude probably was ready to kill himself and blame it on the police. Why even like? That's what's even weirder is like, what's the motive there for him? I mean, if you kill yourself, what do you care what people think of how it happened? I mean, I guess if he's always just been kind of crazy, that's one thing. Why to just kind of throw the police in there? Because it makes sense if you post like, hey, these guys are after me. Like, yeah, they'll probably come check out your house one day and be like, we got beef with this guy. But it is weird that there's people like sizing up his house. That much is what's really tripping me out. Like, as if they had a plan.
And I mean, it's like any rebuttal I could think of. Just, oh, well, the cops are meeting outside of his house because, like maybe they're concerned for the neighbors because it sounded like he was off his meds, yada, 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 yada. But then there's the weird van with the camera that pulled up.
That part in particular is like, I don't even know what they're doing, what they're hoping to achieve with that move.
I don't know.
But the fact that it happened makes you think like, again, that's a lot of effort for this guy to go through to make that happen to look legit,
Mm-hmm.
And if he seems like a guy who maybe didn't have a lot of friends, if he didn't have someone who was like ready to just call him up and be like, dude, what's really going on?
Like, hey, man.
I'll come over with my gun, but you gotta tell me what's going on. But if he was, that's the other thing, is what, cameras just cut as soon as you see him sitting there?
Yeah, that was the last thing you saw on the cameras.
Because I would imagine if he has a knife and he dies from a stab wound, it sounds like he stabs himself.
Mm-hmm.
What if he did stab himself, but then the cops set the place on fire? Boom. Twist. Why did they do it? Who knows still. Still a mystery.
Blew my mind, Angel.
I know. I'm capable of such things. That's a real trippy one, for sure. It's, there's...
Well, what do you guys think? Do you think he was actually a part of a conspiracy issue, or do you think he was just a paranoid guy that was off his meds?
I don't know. I mean, I would want to like look more into it and stuff because I'm just scanning the Reddit, and that's basically everyone's is like. You think he was just a guy off his meds, or like were the police really after him? And I don't know. I gotta look more into it. It's all eerie, anyways. Just like to see that the last footage, like no footage, and then just him with a knife. Like that's creepy enough, you know.
Uh-huh. That's
And-
genuine creepy. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't fake that.
So the whole, but it's not like that. Like as of extreme behavior. I don't know if you remember this story. Because there was this guy who was in love with Bjork. I don't know if you heard of this story. You guys know Bjork, right?
I think I'm trying to remember if I know the story. Go ahead.
But basically, he was a super obsessed fan and was like in love with her and like a stalker. And he created these series of incredibly creepy home movies where he's basically just like,
Oh, yeah.
And I think what it was, he ended up, he was gonna like kill her, and he ended up sending like a bomb to her through the mail. And basically, in the end of the video, he like admits it and says all this, and then on video, he shoots himself in the head, but the police find it and they actually intercept the whole thing and like let her know like, hey, here was the deal, you really were in danger and stuff. And so I could see him, maybe this guy could just be that, you know, that afflicted mentally where he stabbed himself and set the thing on fire.
Yeah.
So
Didn't that guy like shave off all of his body hair and
Yes.
like paint his face and all that too in the video?
it was creepy.
What gets you to that? Like, it's one thing to be that person and do those things, but the weirder part for me is like choosing a celebrity to obsess over during that or because of it or what. Like, why?
It's mental illness.
Yeah, I guess I can't understand that.
No.
It's like completely only relative to the person.
Like you're trying to figure out what the number red smells like. You're never gonna piece that puzzle together.
You just wait. I'll get there one day.
I hope you do. I hope it cures a lot of people, helps them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got crazy ex-Marines mailing bombs to Bjork.
It happened, America. It happened.
Wasn't that his thing too? Like he was dishonorably discharged or something?
I would have to look that up, but maybe I'll fact check that real quick.
Siri, show me discharge.
Seven shutty shoulders.
I'm trying to tell Siri to show me a discharge.
I don't want my Siri to show you a discharge.
No one ever lets their Siri show me these things.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this tab about John Lang on my computer. Now this FBI will be watching everything I ever do for the rest of my life.
You know, one time I went on a sick one. I got all scared about cruise ships.
Only you, Angel.
Not cruise ships exactly, but I was thinking like, what if while these people are on a cruise ship, like on the lowest levels, there's like slaves, and then I started thinking like, who owns the oceans?
It's God's water, man. It's God's water.
It was tripping me out because there's totally uncharted waters or
What's not uncharted? Isn't it just international waters?
yeah, it's like non-jurisdiction to anyone, right?
It doesn't. No,
Excuse
it
me.
doesn't say he was in the Marines or in the military.
Oh, really?
So you just kind of
That was someone
projected
else
that.
then. I remember that being a thing in some weird stalker story. The amount of people stalking celebrities is too damn high.
Mm-hmm.
does it still happen?
Yeah. There was one, I think, recently, like Miley Cyrus recently filed like a really good restraining order against one guy, and this was like a couple months ago. So there's still plenty of stalkers out there.
Good for them.
It's
Keep it alive, fellas.
it's the
I'm kidding.
double-edged whatever. It's the double-edged sword of social media, man. Is you have all these people that were stalking celebrities back in the day when you'd buy Teen Vogue Weekly or whatever, and oh look, like I get to see a picture of her. this month.
Plastered
On the wall. Now I just I'll go on any of her social accounts and I'll find out where she ate lunch, and I'll find out where she did this and where she did that. You know what I mean? That's why I'm so weary about it. Like when I see friends tagging where they're eating and stuff. Not that someone wants to send me a bomb, but I just don't like the idea that people know where I am. You know what I mean?
The constant surveillance.
Yeah.
No, it's a trip for me too. I am constantly not scared, but like
Are you scared?
always a little paranoid because everything's tracking you all the time. Even if you're not checking in somewhere, if you Google search somewhere, your metadata is like showing particular things where someone can at least trace them back and figure out it's you. Like that's what's crazy about all that. We just keep these little fucking trackers in our pockets all day.
Yep.
We love it.
Hey, Wiretap, how do I make spaghetti? It's just funny how much our parents were so paranoid about that. You know what I mean?
I'm still paranoid.
Like, no, we can't buy that antenna system because there'll be a microphone in there. The government can listen on us.
Now we just walk around with listening devices all the time.
Yeah, like I know Siri's listening to me all the time because Apple makes you agree to that. You turn it on.
And it's recording you too.
Yep.
Video wise.
Creepy.
Beautiful.
That's why more than once, like if I just got a decent laptop or whatever, I should go back to a flip phone. Just I will call, I will text.
I don't know, man. People really like the conveniences of these things.
I'll carry my little like bootleg Game Boy around.
I did see that earlier.
Oh, sorry. I'll carry my little bootleg Game Boy around.
Truly living off the grid in the days of yesteryear.
I'll push a hoop with a stick.
That was a toy for them, right?
That was.
Mm-hmm.
Times they are changing, and damn it, it's for the better.
Yeah, now it's way, way for the better.